I got my hands on the EVGA RTX 2080 Ti for the Win 3. We're going to look at it today. Okay, so let me get this thing opened up. Always gonna have a good knife. Interesting boxing that they're doing now. I actually prefer this over the flat boxes that they do for an everyday boxing, but let's see what we got. Probably some cables. Oh, this is packaged in here very tightly, as I suppose you would expect a $1,350 graphics card to be. I'll get that out of the way. And yes, I'm going to go ahead and open this static bag while sitting on a cloth couch. So that's alright. Get rid of that. Here's what we got. Okay, so our card. This thing's big. It's a 2.7, or we're going to call it a 3-slot card. And as you can see, it's got a massive heat sink on here. This thing is actually pretty heavy too. Okay, so what do we have for specs? 1755 megahertz boost clock. That's where we start. It does have a dual BIOS mode between normal and an overclock. Personally, I'm going to have it set in overclock because why would you spend $1,350 to not overclock it? That's what these custom PCB boards are made for. Power delivery is 2 8-pins. It does have 14,000 megahertz memory clock and then 11,264 megabytes GDDR6 memory. So it's screaming fast. Max total power draw is 250 watts. This thing should be highly efficient, and excited to see what the benchmarks turn out to be. Okay, as you can see, this card is massively powerful. The 2080 Ti is the fastest graphics card on the market today. It's the most powerful out there. Well, until they've got the new RTX Titan, I suppose. But at the moment, this is it. For $1,350, however. So what are you getting? Well, you saw the performance in some of the benchmarks that were run. But what you get is an ultra smooth, very powerful experience. The Precision X1 software that you can download from EVGA is real simple to use. And you can show you what you end up doing with the car. Right now mine's boosting up to 2055 on the clock. And I got the memory boosted an additional 850. The card is loud, obviously with it being cooled on air at the moment. I will be eventually water blocking this once there are some available. Nonetheless, got to deal with the fans to keep this thing cool. I've had been running here for about 20-25 minutes, somewhere in there, and the temperatures are peaking between 60 and 61 degrees Celsius. So the fans are doing a good job of keeping this cool. One thing I would like to note is we're going to set this thing to default real quick. I don't know if you can tell, but the fans went instantly quiet. Your clock drops down and it has its own boost internally, obviously, but it seems to fluctuate around that 1935 to 1960 range on the clock once it kind of settles in here on its temperature. And then the temperature will jump right back up because it doesn't have that aggressive fan curve that I put on it. I like to keep it running with the more aggressive fan curve typically. It is buttery smooth. It is hands down the best performance I've had yet in a card. Running 4K games, especially with the G-Sync turned on. I use on my main computer, not this monitor obviously, but I use a PG27UQ, which is Asus's 144 megahertz overclocked monitor at 4K with G-Sync built in, and it is an unbelievable gaming experience in general. What do you get for $1,350 though? You get beeping. Oh, my GoPro scared me. What do you get for $1,350? You end up getting, obviously, an increase in play over the 2080 Ti, or the 1080 Ti's. But as you saw from the benchmarks, is it that much of an improvement to spend that much money, that much more money? When typically the 2080 Ti, which to me, I understand they're saying, oh, that's the 2080 is the new, the 80 series is the new point, but it always went 980, then they'd release the 980 Ti, and that'd be the same price point with a performance boost. And then they came out with the 1080. There was a 30% increased performance boost for the same price. And then it was the 1080 Ti. Same 30% increase in performance, but the same price again. And so now we get a very minor performance boost. Yes, we get the new technology, but we get a massive increase in price as opposed to at the same price. I'm not a fan of that. I think that the companies are taking advantage of the fact that people are paying the higher prices. So we've done it to ourselves through the mining craze that hit, and then people are just buying the more expensive components. You're seeing it, I think, across the board in the computer components. You're seeing it, and I don't think it's driven from the whole tariff that's been set up. The trade war, that's a discussion for another day. I think people are just flat out willing to pay more money, so the manufacturers are charging more money. Look at what Intel has done with the 9700K and the 9900K. Look at what NVIDIA is doing with their graphics cards. They're going up. Look at what these board partner companies are doing with the motherboards. You're getting more and more expensive, substantially more expensive for the same level of componentry. So is it worth the money that you're paying for it? To me, no. I don't think this is a $1,350 graphics card. However, that's what it's priced at. So if you want one, which you won't be disappointed when you get it. When it comes to the performance, you're going to have to pay for one. That's a decision you're going to have to make as well, though. Is it worth it to you, or do you want to get the 2080? Save a few $100s. That's something to be debated for certain. Why did I go with the For the Win from EVGA as opposed to the Strix 2080 Ti overclock? Well, because manufacturers, or I shouldn't say not manufacturers, but the retailers are right now getting over MSRP for the Asus card. I don't know why. Why do people pay them? Well, because they do, and apparently as consumers pay more, the retailers are going to sell them for more and get more profit. EVGA sells their cards direct, so their MSRP is their price unless they decide to discount them. So I respect that. They've got fantastic customer service. I've called them in a couple of things, and they're easy to get a hold of, they're easy to talk to, and they just fix things. They're fantastic to deal with. So I have a lot of comfort in buying their card from them. And to me, this is 1A, 1B as to what's the best 2080 Ti custom board partner out there between the Asus Strix and the For the Win 3. I am curious to see what they do with the Kingpin version of this, how much that's going to cost, and if you really get much more performance out of it. That's my opinion, however, and something I can be excited for. Anyway, I hope you liked today's video. I'm trying to keep it short. The last couple have been a little long. If you like it, thumbs up, subscribe. I appreciate it. If you didn't like it, well, you know what to do there. Leave your comments in the comments section and let me know if you've got any questions or concerns or thoughts, and I'd be happy to address it. I'm going to be heading off on vacation here for Christmas, so I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, as I won't be back till afterwards, and we will see you in the next one.